Season 3, right here at Saga 960 AM. You can hear us all season long, 1 to 2 p.m. Alongside Brendan Lang. My name is Mike Karafilidis. Brendan Lang, you can hear him on the home broadcast. He's the color guy. He's a really smart guy. Anyway, just kidding. There's the intro for Brendan. So you'll hear. And my name is Mike Karafilidis. I'll be doing the road games for play-by-play, of course, and I'll be hosting the home games during the intermission and whatnot. Brendan Lang, another season. How have you been doing? This is episode 3. How you been doing the last week, my man?
Yeah, I've been doing okay. It's been it's again been a busy time with working and everything. We got the Blue Jays coming down to the wire here in September, so I've been locked in on that, and that's been exciting all summer. So hopefully they can figure some things out here going into September. And yeah, man, that's pretty much been it. Every time we come on here, I feel like I talk about I've been playing some golf, been doing that as well. So just getting outdoors, enjoying the last bit of the warmth, right? We're getting into the fall now, which personally I'm a fan of. I'm a big fan of the fall. It's probably my favorite season. It's not too hot. I don't do well in the heat, like the straight up heat that we've had this past summer when it's been those days of humidex in the 40s. That's just I can't even go outside. I'm just gonna melt. So it's been a tough summer in that regard. But yeah, weather's been a lot nicer for me, at least recently, and looking forward to the fall. And yeah, looking forward to getting the season going. It's getting pretty close.
Yeah, that's good, man. And talking about those Blue Jays, of course, really, really close. I mean, what are they? I think they're 2.5 ahead of the Yankees, but I don't know. I'm getting scared. I'm getting down to crunch time, right? And another month ago, I'm really getting scared about Jeff Hoffman. Every time he comes in the game, I get a heart attack. To be honest with you, the bullpen, man, it's got to shapen up. I mean, last game I watched, it was 8-1 against Cincinnati. Cincinnati came back to make it 8-6. They got to close it out. Now's the time. They got 3 more games against the Boston Red Sox, 3 more games against the New York Yankees, who are just right behind them, 2.5, 3 games
Yeah.
back. So, yeah, I've been tuned in on that too, right? So,
Yeah, it's
crazy.
exciting, right? Because it's been a while since they've had a chance to win the division. So I guess what is it, 9 years now? 2016 was probably the
Right.
last time they were really in the mix. 2015 is the last time they won it. So 10 years ago. Yeah, it's good to see, but you're right. The bullpen has been has been an issue recently for sure. But I think that's kind of stuff that happens over the course of a baseball season. It goes up and down. It's such a long year. You're going to go through stretches where you don't have your best stuff. Too bad it's happening near the end of the season with the bullpen. But yeah, I mean, I think you have confidence that they'll figure it out because they were good in the beginning of the year, and it's just kind of fallen off. So I think you probably have confidence that they'll find a way to figure this out. The offense has been awesome, and it stayed that way. So that's definitely a plus. Maybe if Guerrero could get going a little bit more, he's been a little bit struggling since he's come back from his hamstring injury. But yeah, no, I think there's a good shot. And this series, this upcoming weekend, I guess when this airs, it'll be ongoing at this point. It's going to be the biggest series of the year for sure. So it's going to be exciting in the Bronx. It's going to be some good crowds out there. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be good, but they scare me. Guerrero scares me. He's been scaring me a little bit the way he's been playing too. I mean, Bichette's been playing out of his mind though, eh? Like,
Yeah.
is there a chance he's going to come back to Toronto next year? To be honest with you, probably not.
You don't
That's
think
my
so?
opinion. No, I don't. I don't. It's just what I'm hearing through the news and stuff like that. I keep hearing he wants to go to well, who doesn't want to go to LA and stuff like that? So, uh, we'll see. I mean, still a
Yeah.
long time to go for that. But hey, NFL season's starting too,
Right.
right? Looking forward to that. I know
Yeah,
my
I'm
Cleveland Browns
sure.
are going to be in for the draft pick for the first round pick next year. I can tell you that. Yep.
Uh,
And you know what? Bring it on, Arch Manning. Let's go. Take the season.
who
Take the season,
who is
please.
who's starting who's starting quarterback for Cleveland? They announced it.
Joe Flacco.
Oh, he is.
Isn't that
Oh, okay,
great? They
okay.
brought him back. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
Little veteran presence in there.
Hmm.
Do
Uh-huh.
you like Shadur Sanders? Do you think he's
He looked okay. He
okay?
looked okay in the first game, like the preseason game.
Yeah,
And then after that, he looked lost, to be
yeah,
honest with you. Um, they brought in Dylan Gabriel, their other quarterback. I mean, they have like 500 quarterbacks, it seems like, in camp, but they really have 4. Dylan Gabriel was the other quarterback they drafted out of Oregon. He looked okay. Joe Flacco actually looked pretty good
Yeah.
in his last start against his first start in the preseason against the Rams, right? So, uh, but man, they just don't have it. They don't have it this year. I know they got two first round picks next year at Jacksonville. They got Jacksonville's first round pick and their own, so they should have a high draft pick. Well, I don't know if Jacksonville might be a good team. I think
Yeah.
they might be good. I think they'll probably be a low second round, their second first round pick. The Cleveland Browns first round pick is going to be hot because the power ratings just came out. Doesn't mean anything. I think it's hilarious, but the Browns are rated second to last, and I think that's right.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I hate to say it, man.
Yeah. Well,
I
hey,
hate to say it. I'm a long suffering fan,
you're being
and I'm sick of it.
realistic.
Yeah,
You're being realistic. I think the Bills are going to be good. I'm excited for the Bills this year. I
yeah.
kind of got a feeling this is their year. I think this is
Hmm.
the year that they break through.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Wow.
I
All
got a
right.
feeling that this is going to be the year they're going to break through. Now, I probably said that the last 4 or 5 years, but it's like being a Leaf fan every year. You say it's like this is their year. I feel like that's it's going to be with Buffalo this year, but looking forward to it for sure. It's really a great time for sports because you've got everything
Oh
cooking,
yeah.
right? Like
Oh
when
yeah.
you get into like October, late September, early October, and into the month of October, like you've got playoff baseball, you've got football starting up, the NBA is about to start, the NHL starting, the OHL's ongoing. Like you got
Mm.
everything ongoing. It's kind of the best time of year for sports. So it's yeah, really looking forward to everything getting going here.
Yeah, this is Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. And this is all Mississauga Steelheads content. Yeah, we throw in some football too. We throw in some baseball, we're not the type of podcast, to be honest with you folks, are just going to sit there and just be like robots. So we like to joke around and stuff. So, yeah. So there's our little football talk. So what else has been going on? I'll tell you a little story of what's been going on with me. All right. So my son, you're going to laugh at this one. So, um, he played T-ball this year. I think you knew that already. So this is last year's T-ball before he goes on to the pitching machine. That's the next step. So in T-ball, when you hit the ball, it has to go to the grass for them to advance for another base, right? Okay, that's the rules. So sometimes when they had three coaches for my son's team, which were excellent coaches, and one guy doesn't show up, and sometimes they'll ask me to coach third base. Right? I'm already laughing. I think you know where this is going. So as I said, it had to go to the outfield. So I didn't know, right? So I'm coaching third base. I'm waving everybody in, eh? I'm
Got the
waving
windmill
everybody
going.
in. Yeah, keep going,
Yeah.
keep going. And then the coach of the team goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, you're supposed to stop them. You're supposed to stop them after one." I go, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the rule." So the coach gets mad at me. I'm like, "Man, I didn't know. I didn't know." And then our coaches on our team, they're just laughing. Hey, I'm waving everybody in. And it didn't even get to the outfield, right? I'm like, "Go, go, go." And the kids are listening. They're going hard. They're going around the bases
Oh,
anyway. That's just a rule. But next year, it's the real rule. So,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
guys,
That's
come on.
hilarious.
Let them. Yeah, I like, let them.
Yeah,
Hey,
let
I
them
don't
get the
know.
wave. Let them round third.
Yeah. I'm like, go, go, go. Keep going. Wait there. I knew it. But
Love
it's nice to
that.
see the kids have fun.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
you know, baseball season, yeah, you mentioned it, man. Like, now it's time for the time of year for sports. Everything's gonna be starting up. So uh OHL is gonna be starting up. We'll get into the Steelheads. They played already two season games, Brendan, against the Guelph Storm back to back. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But man, there's there's quite the goaltending battle, I guess you could say. We'll get into
Yeah.
that as well. We know who the number one goalie is going to be, and we'll get into that. There's a little bit of a preview of the show, folks, and we're going to have our special guest. And guess what? I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. So just letting you know. I will let you know he is a draft pick of a team who just got drafted to the NHL in this past NHL draft. All right, we'll take a break. We come back, more Trout Talk right here on Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk right here at Saga 960 AM. And let's bring in our guest. And he is a draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks. recently drafted in the 5th round, ladies and gentlemen. And there he is, as we can see him right now on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. If you're watching, Steelheads forward, power forward, Stony Creek native Gabe Chiarot. Gabe, how are you doing, my man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing well. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for
Yes.
having me.
So what you rushed over. We really appreciate you coming on, of course. Got your message. Thank you. And sir, you know what? Let's start off first. How's training camp going for you?
It's been going good. It's been tough. Jared's been working us pretty hard, but no, team's looking good. Yeah.
And we were just talking before you came in there, just kind of saying about there's going to be some new faces on the team. Of course, you've got a chance to meet them all now with training camp being ongoing. How has it been being a kind of a veteran now in this league and having new guys and having to kind of bring them along?
You know, it feels good not having to do all the rookie stuff anymore. I'll say that. But no, it feels good. You know, just trying to meet the new guys. You know, kind of like show them the way from what I've had to do. But no, all the guys have been good so far.
All right, so Gabe, let's kind of circle back to, of course, you're drafted by the Vancouver Canucks. We talked to you a little bit at the golf tournament about it, but now we can talk extensively about it, of course. Where were you? Talk about tell everybody about the experience. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Yeah, so I was just at my house. Like I didn't go to the draft, and then I went. I saw some names that I thought I should have went earlier, but is what it is. And then I went outside, kind of just to clear my mind with my dad. And then next thing you know, like my phone starts blowing up. My sisters come like running outside. They're like screaming. And then I'm like, I look at my phone. I'm like, holy like crap! Like I just got drafted. And then yeah, that's when it all happened. But no, it was a really cool moment, and I got to share with my family, so that was awesome.
And had you talked to Vancouver before? Kind of how does that whole draft process work for you?
Yeah, I talked to them before. I had an interview with one of their scouts, and then I was actually like planning on going there, like as an invite to the development camp and then rookie tournament. So I kind of knew I had a place to go anyways, if I didn't get drafted to at least a development camp. But it just happened that they picked me, so it kind of all worked out in the end.
So Gabe, I know we talked about it a little bit, but you go to the developmental camp as well when you got drafted. A familiar face that you saw down there, of course, Vilmar Ulrichsen, who was with the team last year. So talk or how was that experience for you going into that Vancouver developmental camp? And who was the first person when you walked through the door? Who was the first person to greet you? Like out of the veteran players in that team, who did you see?
Well, like they didn't have too many of the guys from like the actual team there, but the first guy I met was Todd Harvey, and he's their head
Yeah.
scout, and he played in the NHL.
Hmm.
Super nice guy. But no, development camp was great. It was a hard week, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when I talked to you at the golf tournament, you were saying that they worked you pretty hard. So you could say it prepared you for the training camp that you're in right now, because you just kind of started off saying that James Richmond's working you hard here too.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're on the ice like 2 times a day for like the most part, plus like a workout in between, and then we had to do that grouse grind, which was pretty tough, like the mountain they climb. Um, they call it grind for a reason. It was really hard.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
that was
what what is it? What is it called again?
the grouse grind. It's the grouse
What is
mountain.
that? It sounds like a sandwich.
No, it's like you gotta hike up like a huge mountain in Vancouver. But
Okay.
I think it was 2.6 miles or something.
And is
Oh,
it like timed or anything, or what's the?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're timing you the whole way. So like you actually gotta push yourself. You can't just dog it, right?
so when do you go back to training camp, the actual training camp for Vancouver?
I leave next week, September 9th. They have like
Hmm.
the rookie tournament.
Hmm.
So we play one game in I believe it's Penticton, like in British Columbia, and then we go to Seattle for a game.
Hmm.
And then like whatever they want me to, like if they want me to stay, then I'll stay, but it's kind of up to them. So I'll be there for like a week at most, or
Hmm.
for minimum, and then see what they do with me after.
remember talking to some of the guys last year, and I think it was Luke Misa who said that like playing in that rookie tournament was a really like cool opportunity to kind of see all the competition that you're against. Have you talked to any of the guys about kind of what that experience is like?
A little bit. Like they're hard games, and obviously some guys like they're trying to prove themselves out there and like show what they got. So obviously it's nothing to take easy. But no, like from what I've heard, they're really competitive games. So I'm really looking forward to that, and it should be a fun experience.
So, Gabe, let's circle back now to the Steelheads. Of course, this year, you scored 2 goals and 2 assists in your first game, right? So, 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss. What is your assessment of the team so far?
Like we've lost a lot of guys this year, so there's a lot of new faces on the team, but uh, obviously we're not going to have as much skill. But I think we're going to be a hardworking team this year, and a team that guys or teams that other teams are not going to want to play against because we're just going to hound pucks and be a dog on a bone,
Like that,
right?
right?
Yeah, and for you personally, I mean, as you said, losing quite a few guys, like your role is going to expand this year. We were talking to James Richmond, and he said pretty much the same thing. Like, how has that kind of adjustment been, and how much are you looking forward to kind of having more of that expanded role, maybe playing some power play time, stuff like that?
Yeah, it obviously feels good getting extra ice time. Like I know a lot of the time, or most of the last season, I was like strictly 5-on-5, or like a lot of my minutes were 5-on-5 plays. So it'll be nice to kind of get some touches on the power play and penalty kill there. But as an older guy, no, I think it'll be good. Helping out the younger guys, and something that like I've learned from other older guys, like just passing that on to the younger guys. No, it's gonna be a fun year for sure.
Gabe, you played on the line. The first game that I saw, I wasn't there, but I just saw online. You played with Keaton Arda, and you played with Kieran Wachowski on the first line, right? So how is it playing with those 2 guys? Talk
I
about
don't
that.
think I don't think it was Arda. I
Oh, it
think
wasn't Arda? Okay.
it might have been
So
D'Amelio.
was it okay, D'Amelio. All right. So talk about
Yeah,
yeah, if you could just how was it playing with those guys?
yeah. Well, obviously, I played with Wit for the past 2 years now, a lot,
Hmm.
right? So
You're gonna be on the
we
first line now. That's the thing. So,
yeah, no, we built some good chemistry over the past couple of years. So
yeah.
obviously we work well together. But D'Amelio is a really good player as well, and with a lot of ice time, I think we could play with anyone in the league.
We'll kind of go back to this offseason. Obviously, it's been busy with you with being drafted, and we look at the numbers last year, and obviously there was a huge jump for you from your first season into your second season. What's the work looked like in the offseason? Like how much of it is on the ice? How much of it is in the gym? Sort of what does that mix look like?
Yeah, so I took a couple weeks off the ice. I was trying to get bigger in the gym. Obviously, bigger, stronger, faster. That's like the biggest cliche ever. But obviously trying to spend more time in there, and then I like as the summer goes on, try and get on the ice more. Maybe a couple of times a week. Then you ramp it up to like 3, 4, 5 times until you're almost at training camp. But no, it was a good off season. Gained a lot of muscle, which was good. I think I improved my game. So, yeah, just waiting for it to kick in for this season.
What else have you been doing in the off season? You've been going fishing. Talk about some of the things that Gabe Chiarot did in the off season besides working out and what people think every hockey player does is work out and just concentrate on hockey. No. What does Gabe
honestly,
Chiarot? What does Gabe Chiarot do?
honestly, a lot of driving, a lot of driving,
Okay.
a
Driving.
lot of
Okay.
driving. Yeah. I try to golf here and there, like whenever I can, but it's tough, right, with all my training.
Mhm.
So try and do a little bit of that. I picked up tennis this summer, which is pretty fun. Just playing with a few
Ooh.
buddies. No, I'm not any good, but you know,
It's okay. Tennis is fun. I like tennis, man. I like playing with people and stuff like that, like friends. We don't know what we're doing. We used to go, you know what? I'll tell you guys a funny story. We used to go to court right near my house, right? And just to
yeah.
say, we used to play. We used to just screw around and just hit the ball, pretend we're this person, pretend we're that person, pretend we're Stefan Edberg. You guys wouldn't know who that is, pretend you're Yvonne Lendl or something, just
Hey,
hit the
those
ball, have
guys.
fun.
Yeah,
And
I don't
we
know
used to
them. I don't
do.
know them, Mikey.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't know those guys. But I and we always had this, we always went at night until the lights went out and then we left.
Oh,
Then
jeez.
we do something else. It was right near the house, right? So we had a little crew around our neighborhood. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, tennis is fun.
Yeah.
It's a good sport. Gets you moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You said you did a lot of driving. Where are you driving to? Is it just like just driving around, or are you going places?
No,
Yeah.
like most of my training was out in like
Oh, okay.
Toronto and Oakville this year, so I spent a lot of
Oh,
time on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not fun getting stuck in rush hour traffic, that's for sure.
no, it's
No.
not. It's not good. It's not good. Um,
No.
so okay, Gabe, I want to circle back a little bit now. Like, have you got a chance to meet? Obviously, you got a chance to meet Matej Stankoven, Zach Nyman, Zach Bowen. What can you tell us about these guys?
Yeah, so well, Stanky actually lived with me for a few days there before he moved into his new billets. So
Okay.
I kind of got to know him pretty well. He's a great guy. His English is actually very good for someone coming from Europe, right? But he looks good on the ice. And then Bowen is really good as well. I've had a tough time scoring on him in practice. So I think that's a good sign. And then Nyman, he's been skating, but I think he's still recovering from that knee injury he had. So I haven't
Mhm.
really seen him too much in games, but from what I've seen, he looks really good, and they're all great guys. So, it's easy to talk to them, and they'll fit right in.
Is there a guy that you've seen kind of that has surprised you so far in training camp? Maybe it's somebody from last year that you've seen take a really big leap, or maybe it's a new guy. Is there kind of one player that you can think of?
Um, from what I've seen, I think Troy Patton's got a lot better. Like his confidence with the puck has gone so much better. And obviously, he competes really hard, and he throws the body around. I think he's going to be a player that has a good breakout season this year.
So this team, this team, you already said it too. You think they're going to turn a lot of heads this year and whatnot. So you
Mhm.
guys can play with anybody. So the confidence is there, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Excellent. That's
And
good.
we've talked about it. I feel like every year that we've been doing this about the sort of what's the word, like the culture inside of the room has always been extremely strong, and you guys have always been really close. Like, how difficult is that? Because there's a lot of guys leaving, a lot of new guys coming in to kind of create that same culture and keep it everybody close and stuff like that. Again, because there's such a big change and turnover of roster guys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different, but I think it's up to us older guys, that have been here for 2 3 years to kind of pass that on and kind of not like rebuild, but keep going what chemistry and what kind of locker room we've had before. So, that's something like I'm gonna have a big part in as well, like taking in like a leadership role in the team, even if I don't get a letter. Just still helping out the young guys and trying to teach them and pass along the ways.
You're going to get a letter. You're
We'll
gonna get
see
a
about
letter.
that.
This is
Yeah.
my opinion right now, folks. I mean, I'm not James Richmond. I don't know, but but if hey, I got a feeling. I got a good feeling you get a letter, and I think it's deserved. I think the way you're talking right now, you're ready to take that leadership role, Gabe, and I really firmly believe that you will get one.
Hey,
I really do. I really do.
we had guys on the team last year who didn't have a letter, and they were leaders. So
There you
anything
go. It
can
doesn't
happen,
matter
right?
if you have a letter or not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good
And
answer.
you've obviously played with quite a few leaders, good good older guys. Like when you come in, Chaz Sharp being a name, a guy who was around. Obviously last year, Martone being the captain, Zabeski, another guy who's still around. Like who was somebody that kind of took you under their wing and taught you sort of the ropes, and now you're kind of in that position and gonna pass it on to some of the other guys.
I think Stevie Lescovar was a big influence, especially last year a lot. It kind of got closer to him. Just the way he plays and like the mindset he has, like something I've really carried on. And now he's in the AHL. I still talk to him quite a bit. Call him every now and then. But yeah, he's one of the guys who's helped me a lot. Like especially as being a younger guy.
That's fantastic. So, did you talk to, ladies and gentlemen? So, Gabe Chiarot's cousin is Ben Chiarot. Everybody probably knows that name in the NHL. Did you get a phone call from him when you got drafted?
Oh yeah, He
Okay.
called
Well,
me. Yeah, he called me right after. Actually, I'm training with him this summer in Waterloo because that's where he lives.
mhm.
Yeah, he
Beautiful.
was.
So, you guys are trained together now. Right? You got the bloodlines from NHL cousins. So, what'd you guys work on? Like, what did he teach you?
A lot of bag skating, that's for sure. Yeah, a lot
It's
of
hard on you, huh?
oh yeah, a lot of conditioning
Okay.
skates, and it's crazy to see how like in shape these guys are. Even in the summer, like they won't even do that much. They'll go on the ice like maybe once or twice a week, and they'll still be firing on all cylinders. It's crazy.
How cool is that though to just have somebody there that has experienced everything that you're going through right now and some, just to be able to talk about the game and sort of all the process with.
Yeah, it's obviously like it's an advantage for me because it's someone who's been there and done that, and it's always good to talk to him and kind of figure out how he got out of situations and like what he did when this problem happened to him. So it's good having someone you can kind of lean back and talk to about that.
Well, you certainly look like you've gained a lot of muscle and stuff like that. So, I'm going to ask you this question: how much can you bench press now?
Can I bench press?
Yeah,
This year only 2 plates. So what's that? 225.
that's pretty
Okay,
good.
it's pretty good.
It's
A lot
pretty
of the
good.
a lot of the guys that we talk to, they wouldn't really give us an answer. They're like, "Yeah, I don't
Okay,
really
I
bench
found
press
this on
that
the
kind
web.
of thing."
What was that?
I don't know.
Well, we had a little technical difficulty there, but
Little
folks, we're still
Siri
here.
coming
I
in
don't
there.
know. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Someone like activated my Siri on my computer, and
It's pretty
he just
cool.
went
Hey,
off.
right on. All right. I thought
Yeah,
maybe it was
sorry
coming
about
from
that.
my
Sorry,
end
what
or
were you
something.
saying?
Oh,
I was saying
Brendan
a
was
lot of the
talking about
players
the
wouldn't.
guys.
Yeah, they wouldn't tell us. They wouldn't give us an answer. They say, "No, I don't really bench press. It's not something that I do." So that's good that you actually give us a number.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm surprised guys won't say anything. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's that bad as long as you're over your body weight, right?
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Now that's like
Well,
the standard testing. I'm pretty sure. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
yeah, that's amazing. Um, so if you had something, okay, so I asked JR the same thing, and I asked PVR the same thing when we had him on at the golf tournament. I think I did. But anyways, I know I asked JR this. If you had something to say to Steelheads fans right now going into the season, what would you say to them? Okay,
Maybe a
long
lot of good
season.
games, a lot of heavy hits, and a lot of goal scoring.
There we go. That's definitely something that we're looking forward to. Thank you so much for coming on, Gabe. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, Gabe. Well, that was Gabe Chiarot of the Brampton Steelheads. He's going to have a big part in this team. Drafted the Vancouver Canucks in the fifth round of the recent NHL draft. A lot of confidence. He's Brendan. Wow.
Yeah, you can see that the confidence is there for sure, and I feel like rightfully so. When you talk about, and we mentioned it in there, but the step that he took from his first year to his second year, I mean, that's a massive jump. What was it in his first season? Just going by like goal scoring wise, I can't
Mhm.
remember what the actual numbers were, but going from around, I think it was 5 goals to what 21, 22 last year, like that's a huge jump. And you know that there's going to be something else in there again. He talked about sort of what his offseason has looked like, and obviously it's been busy with getting drafted and everything, but the training is there, and confident in the team too. I feel like that's something that's big as well, saying that it's going to be a heavy team. They're going to score a lot of goals. They're going to be maybe not as skilled, maybe they don't have as many skilled guys, but the effort's always going to be there. And I think that's all you can ask from a team, and definitely looking forward to seeing what they bring.
Yeah, I can't wait. I seriously can't wait to see what they bring as well. I think he said it right. You just said it. We're going to be hard to play against. That's what JR said as well.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see where they place this year. I still think that that this team, it's sprinkled with 16-year-olds, it's sprinkled with 17-year-olds. You got your 19-year-olds, you got your 18-year-olds, and you have your overagers, right? So I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen in this Eastern Conference. It doesn't matter. Brantford signing these guys and Niagara signing these guys. What does that matter until you step on the ice, right?
Yeah. Right.
We don't, nobody knows, especially in the East. I seriously am going to say this one more time that I feel the East is wide open. I really do.
I completely agree with you. I feel like, as you mentioned, some team names there, like Brantford probably is going to be good. You're going to have a few teams at the top, but I completely agree. Like, and when you look at the Steelheads, remember a couple years ago, everybody thought they wouldn't make the playoffs, and they started out with as the best team in the league. Like,
Yeah,
you have to. Who is it? Chris Berman, who always says that's why they play the games.
that's
Is that who
why
it
they
is? That's
play
it.
the games. Chris
Exactly.
Berman.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the old adage in any sports is that the games aren't won and lost on paper; they're won and lost on the ice. So you're just gonna have to wait and see when they get out there. And as we've said, maybe there's some guys that they've lost. Maybe other teams are bringing in other players, but you just don't know how it all fits together. It just, especially in junior hockey, like in the
Mhm.
pros, you can kind of know where things are going to be more. But there's just so many variables in junior hockey with these players. So you would never really know. You never do really know until you get out there on the ice.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows until you get on the ice and you play the games. That's why they play the games, as you said. So, yeah, I mean, I think a key. I'm going to talk about one guy, a key acquisition. To get a goalie, Zach Bowen.
Yeah.
I think that's huge from
Yeah,
the
it is.
Peterborough Petes. I mean, this is a guy playing his overage season, as I just mentioned. Who started off with the London Knights, and there was just no room for him in London at the time. He was backing up by Michael Simpson, and I remember that playoff run against Peterborough. He came in and he did a great job, Zach Bowen, right?
Mhm.
And then he just never really found his a spot, like a spot that he'd be excelling. He played at Peterborough after that. He got traded to Peterborough Petes after the London Knights. And, JR mentioned it as well that he got peppered with, 53, 54 shots a game with a really young team. I think this year with this back end, I think he's going to, I really think he's going to flourish. He's
Yeah,
going to flourish. I mean, flourish. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Flourish, right?
for
So,
sure.
yeah, I
No,
really do. He's a guy that's gonna step up and he's ready to go.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like you said, James Richmond said it. It's a tough situation to play that he had last year, facing a lot of shots, playing with a young team, a young decor. As we've talked about relentlessly, whether it's at the golf tournament or on the first episode, second episode,
Mhm.
the decor is going to be great. So, like, I feel like that's something that's going to be a strength of this team. So, for him to be kind of moving into this role now with the Steelheads, obviously he's a veteran guy as well, so he knows the league, he knows all of that. He's been to all the arenas. He knows all of it. So I feel like that's a big piece to it as well. Bringing in a veteran guy, kind of like Gillespie, who came in last year. Like, he wasn't
Mhm.
having a great season when he came, and he was awesome when he
Mhm.
got to Brampton. So yeah, I definitely think that's a huge pickup. And just to have a guy that you 100% know is going to be the number one guy in that net, he's going to take the bulk of the games. I feel like that's definitely a huge piece.
Now that backup goalie role is gonna be a dogfight between two Americans, which is pretty cool. Peter
Yeah,
Schlabowski and Luke Johnson, right? So we mentioned it earlier. So I think the nod, I think you got to give to Schlabowski. I
an
think
older
he might be
guy.
the
Yeah,
guy instead of maybe give Luke Johnson 1 year, maybe in in Stouffville or you know,
yeah.
and then bring him back up next year, and then you
Yeah,
have
and I mean,
Schlabowski.
even the one who doesn't make the team out of camp, there's likelihood he's going to be needed at some point in the season too. Like when you think about last year, I mean, Anthony Paolini got into what was it, 5 games last year? Like, I mean,
Yes.
you never know. Like
Darren Pang.
sometimes it comes up where you need another guy. So even if they don't make it out of camp, I don't think that's a 100% that you won't see them again for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. All right, Brendan. Let's step aside, shall we? Let's take a break. As this is Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM, your official podcast of the Brampton Steelheads. Mike Karafilidis alongside Brendan Lang. And we are here every Sunday, 1 to 2 p.m., talking about Steelheads content, everything content, life tips. We got everything for you here in this show on Saga 960. And if you're listening, or you could be watching on YouTube as well. So just to let everybody know about that. But Brendan, let's talk about the last two preseason games against the Guelph Storm. First started off in Guelph. Your thoughts on the first one? It was a big win for the Steelheads. It was a 7-2, 7-3 win, whatever it was. So yeah.
Yeah, it was great to see. Obviously, you're not going to take a whole lot from the preseason in terms of like stats and that kind of thing, but obviously good to see uh some scoring in that first game. I think, going into the season, you're looking at guys that they've lost, and I mean, we all know who it is. You're losing Martone, you're losing Rakoff, you're losing McDonnell. I mean, these are big pieces that put up a lot of points for them last year. So for them to be able to come out like that in the first game, I think is definitely big, just for the psyche to be able to create that much offense. Some guys, are going to be kind of stepping up into bigger roles this year. So we saw that in the lineup. You had Mason Zabeski moved up the lineup, Gabe Chiarot, who we just spoke to, moved up in the lineup. You got Kieran Witkowski moved up in the lineup. So like all those kind of guys, good to kind of see them moving into that sort of bigger roles that they're going to be playing this year. And then we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the goaltending too was good in that game as well.
Yeah, Gabe Chiarot, 2 goals, 2 assists, a +4 in that game against the Guelph Storm. First game. Kieran Witkowski, a goal and 3 assists. He was a +4. That's a guy I think that is in for a breakout season as well, 19-year-old. And yeah, but the goaltending was really good. Peter Slabowski, a guy they just signed from the USA, out of the States, 21 saves, 20 on 23 shots. So he was a third star of that game. So that's a goaltending battle. As you said, it's going to be him and Luke Johnson, a guy that they drafted high. He was the first goalie drafted in the OHL selection draft. So it's going to be quite the goaltending battle for the backup position. We all know who the starting goaltender is going to be. Brendan's going to be Zach Bowen, of course, the overager. But this backup goaltending position should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting. Remember when we talked to James Richmond last time when he was on, and he had said, it's kind of, as you mentioned, we know who the number one guy is. It's going to be Bowen. And of course, that's why they made that move to get a true number one goalie. And then you're going to have a battle. And I think it's good to have these kinds of battles for end of roster spots. I mean, I feel like that's just something that creates players leveling up their game when they know that it's not a guaranteed spot. Like they have guys that they're still competing with. And as you said, you have one guy in Johnson who is the first goalie picked in this past draft. You have another guy who you brought in from the USHL. So kind of going with, are we going to see a rookie? Or are we going to see a guy with a little bit more experience? I guess they're both going to be rookies, but a younger guy in their draft pick, or if it's going to be somebody with more experience. And I think it'll be interesting to kind of see where they go with that. Of course, I believe Johnson played in the second game, if I'm not mistaken. I think he started that game. So they've both gotten a chance in there. Obviously, we're not seeing what's going on behind the doors in training camp and all that, but just first look at these two guys. I mean, both of them look pretty solid.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. And, the shots on goal. And the impressive stat to me was the shots on goal in the first game, 32-23. Pretty good for Brampton. In the first period, 9-6, they were leading the shots, 13-10 in the second, 10-7 in the third. I know everybody says preseason, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does matter, folks, because guess what? Kitchener Rangers, I'm going to go back to this. Last year, went undefeated in the preseason. And what they do in the regular season? Surprised everybody. Almost went all the way.
Almost.
Anyways, just say it. So power plays. The Steelheads only had 1 power play in that game, and they were 1 for 1, which is impressive.
Yeah.
And Guelph had 5 power plays. But another impressive stat was the face-offs. 29 for the Steelheads to the 26 of the Guelph Storm. So that's impressive too.
Yeah, that's definitely something that, again, when you talk about the middle of the ice, is seeing how these kind of different players fit in. Another player that we haven't really talked about too is Troy Patton, and kind of going into his second year. If he played in the middle of the ice last year, he also played a little bit on the wing, so kind of seeing where that all fits in. But I mean, he's a player that definitely got off to a good rookie season last year, and looking forward to seeing him. But in the faceoff circle, I feel like that's something that the Steelheads have always kind of preached and really, really worked hard at. Remember, you go back in the days when Jeff Kierzakos was here and how he took all the centermen under his wing, and they talked so much about how they worked on faceoffs and all that, and they were always one of the better teams in the league faceoff wise. Now this year, you're looking at 2 guys who were really good in the faceoff dot in Carm Harris and Van Volson. Both of them no longer on the team anymore. McDonnell, another centerman, that's no longer on the team too. So you're going to have to find some different guys to get in there and win these faceoffs. But I feel like that's something that the Steelheads have always been good at, and something that they've always really, really found importance in, for sure.
It's funny how you said, well, it's like how you just mentioned Troy Patton. He did, he was 10 for 15 in the face-off circle. Not bad. So it looks like he is going to be playing the middle this year a lot, because he, as you said, he played the wing a little bit. maybe uh, not too much, but now he's going to be right down the
He's
middle,
going to be in the
which is
middle
a
for
good
sure.
thing.
Yeah, and you look at even in his rookie season, like this wasn't a guy who came in and kind of got pushed around. Like he was a strong young player,
Hmm.
right? Like sometimes you'll find the 16-year-olds come in and maybe they don't have the strength to kind of play with the older players, but I don't think that was the case with Troy Patton. So
Hmm.
to see the progression throughout the year and then like you said have a great day in the face-off circle, I think that kind of speaks to the development of him for sure.
All right, then the second game they played a back-to-back in Guelph. They went to the Sleeman Center, and the Guelph Storm actually came out with a victory by the score of 3-1 in that game. But again, the Steelheads outshoot the Guelph Storm 35-22. And folks, I just want to remind you something, and then Brendan, just to mention, no Zach Nyman, no Stankoven, no Zach Bowen, no Reed Gee. So these are all guys that are fighting for playoff position or playoff positioning. My God, I'm already thinking about playoffs. Um,
Roster
yeah,
spot.
so it's about roster spots,
Yeah.
right? So it's pretty impressive. It looks like Luke Dragusic got a fighting major in that game,
I saw
and he
that.
got it,
Yeah.
and fighting major instigator. We might see a little bit of that this year from Luke. He's a
Yeah.
feisty player, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, you know what? It's nice to see, and that's the game where Mason Zabeski got into the game as well. Pretty much the same lineup as as the first game. A couple of notables that got into the lineup. Well, Justin Botno got into the lineup.
Yep.
Sean Matthew Goyette, a guy I really like. Let's talk about him for a second. That's David Goyette's brother on the back end, who came from the CCHL, who is with them now. I think he's got a good shot at making this team, in my opinion, as a 17-year-old, and he's got a lot of upside. I don't know your thoughts on Sean Matthew Goyette.
Well, yeah, he definitely has a lot of upside, and two players that you had mentioned there when we talked to James Richmond, they're not going to be ready to start the year. That's Zach Nyman and Reed Gee. Both of them are had some off-season injuries that they're still dealing with, and they'll be back at some point, but they won't be on the roster to start the year. So that's two of your top six defensemen that you were kind of hoping for going into the season, not starting there. So he definitely has a good shot of making it, kind of adding him to the veterans of Fibiger and Von Richter, and then of course Dragusica, who you talked about there too. So I definitely think there's a good shot for him to make this team again, because you're going to need some other guys to step in there early on in the season. And as you said, the upside is there. Like, I mean, that's definitely part of it where you have, he has the ability. It's probably just about getting the experience. So,
Yeah,
and he's got the genes too. Go, yeah, his brother
his brother,
could
draft
score.
pick of the
So,
Seattle draft pick,
yeah,
Seattle Kraken. Man, I mean, pretty good player for the Sudbury Wolves.
yeah,
Just graduated, right? So I hear Brendan. You know what? I look at the lineup too for the Guelph Storm on Saturday, and they pretty much had everybody in the lineup. I mean, compared to what the Steelheads had. I mean, they had Quinn Beauchene in the lineup. They had Ethan Miedema. They just picked up
yeah.
Charlie Paquette. They had Swartzkopf. Corey Stillman's throwing the kitchen sink at the and at the Steelheads, right? So, and he started Colin Ellsworth, their number one goalie. So again, what's impressive to me and with folks is that the Steelheads outshoot them again. They outshoot the Guelph Storm as they did in the first game, right? And it was 35-22. And again, the faceoff dot 32-23.
I
That's
saw that.
impressive.
Yeah,
That's
and
impressive.
And when you peel that back, if you take a look at some of these guys, Manny Amato, 10 for 13 in the faceoff circle. I
Right?
mean, this is somebody, I think he played 9 games for them last year. He's a guy, too, that probably will be called upon to be in the lineup more regularly. So that's huge there. Troy Patton also had a really good day again in the faceoff circle at 7 for 15. You have
Hmm.
Julian D'Amiglio as well, 10 for 17. So, like you mentioned, that's definitely a good sign.
Love that. I really, really like that a lot. And apparently they had a lot of I was gonna go to that game, but it's Labor Day weekend, right? So I had family stuff going on. But what I heard, they played well. What I heard, they played well. And as I said, Corey Stillman threw the kitchen sink at the Steelheads with his players. And here is um, James Richmond kind of, playing the rookies, of course. He threw in some guys here and there, of course. Couple guys, maybe I think that might make the team is maybe Jack Dean one. older guy, and another guy too, who they just signed. Actually, I don't think he's going to make it though. Lachlan Larmond. He did score on Friday, but he didn't score on Saturday. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I know we talked about it before. This is kind of an older but younger team, right? They're not all young guys, to
No,
me.
no, not necessarily young guys. I
Not at
mean, there's going to
all.
be some newer players into the league, of course, but not necessarily young. And I think it's going to be a lot on the older guys and the veterans that have been around the organization for a while to kind of bring them along. But I definitely think that because they're a little bit older, you're going to kind of see more of that power game that we know James Richmond and his teams like to play.
Mhm. All right. That's good. You know what? That's going to do it. We're out of time. My goodness, that went by fast. All
Yeah.
right, but big thanks to Gabe Chiarot for coming on the broadcast. Of course, the Steelheads forward and drop pick of the Vancouver Canucks. So for Brendan Lang, I'm Mike Karafilidis. Thanks for tuning in to Trout Talk right here on Saga 960 AM, and we'll see you next time.